Ipswich Buses, your local bus company serving your football team. Buses run every 10 minutes. Avoid the traffic. Don't get stuck in the delay. Get Ipswich Buses today. A single from only £1.20, a return from only £2. Find out more information at www.ipswichbuses.co.uk. Ipswich Buses, proud to partner with Talking Town. Hello again, my friends, and you are my friends, and welcome to your Thursday night match day preview show. Another weekend of Ipswich Town action is upon us, and hopefully we can carry on the winning ways of midweek and wash the Accrington Stanley result firmly from our mouths and look forward to us 3 points at home to Shrewsbury, and much needed 3 points. We're here to discuss Gillingham, put the full stop on that. I mean, Crunch is on the show without being on the show. That's a new one. We'll discuss his winning habits, culture tweet from the other day that got a few cat among the pigeons. We've got obviously a look at Shrewsbury and various other things, including the prediction league, etc., etc. But the most important thing is the wonderful live audience that's yourself. Really, really appreciate these shows at the moment. Some of the things I'm at home. So, you know, it's good to come and just discuss football with some good friends, have a live chat, which again is absolutely really raining comments. And I truly love that. Before we get to you, you may have seen these wonderful people on the screen, but it is a Thursday. So I do want to say a huge thank you to the following Ko-Fi supporters, otherwise known as the TT Ultras from the fifth stand. You keep us going. You are the backbone of Talking Town. You give us the platform to come and whiff waff and gift gaff, and I truly thank you. Whiff waff and a gift gaff, George. Roll with it. It's the future. And I saw the eye roll from here. It was an eye roll felt around the world. And so yeah, truly thank you to all of these people. You can do, if you do, just the same as they do. And I do know these lists aren't up to date. I am aware. I am fully aware. I've got the new list, which again, I can almost feel George's eye rolls burning from here because he knows when I say there's a list, normally and sadly, it has his name attached to it. But yes, I have got the new list, and there's some more of you to go on. So I am aware of that. Thank you. And thank you again for supporting us through Ko-Fi. The link is in the chat if you wish to do the same. Anything from £5 upwards for a one-off donation, or £5 upwards for a monthly contribution that you can cancel at any time. Right, but we've mentioned him enough times. Let's stop his eye rolls and let's get him straight in for tonight's show. He is, of course, the man that makes all the artwork possible. He is a legend. He is probably should be running the show, to be fair. Darn it, pressed the wrong button. Meant to press Tom's button. How are you, George?
Yeah, all right. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you, sir. I love your flag. I say that every time you come on the show, but every time I just love how it's there, but it's there not covering the books, because you want to maintain that image. You know, it's all about image and reputation, and you want to just show that bookcase off, right?
It's covering my whiteboard for work.
Oh, is
which
it
is
really?
Covering my mirror from my dining room.
Which is covering your mirror from your dining room. See, it's all connected, you see. But it's a lovely bookshelf. What's the best book you've got in that bookshelf, do you reckon? What's your most favourite possession in that bookshelf?
I don't read.
You don't read? It's literally...
do you know what? It's a lot of workbooks. I'm not going to go into it, but that's a great book.
Fair enough.
Highly recommended. I might send it to you, actually. You can read it. I'd recommend it to you.
Wait. If you don't read, what on earth makes you think even I read? Andy says, how many of those books have you actually read? Well, he just answered doesn't read. So
yeah.
they're all there for show. You're not
Nice enough a
like these
reference.
members of Parliament, George, you see on the news when they're having their Zoom calls and they've got the mass amount of book. They ain't read none of them. And if they have,
I've never written a book, so I don't have one to face forwards that you can see subtly. I did used to put Graham's one facing forwards, but I don't know where that is, so I should start doing that again.
Which, of course, you did. That was the only exception to the rule, right, George? Where you did read that one.
Yeah, of course, yeah. No, I genuinely I did. I do read occasionally, but a lot of those are. I mean, a lot of them are cookbooks, which everyone has and nobody ever uses. But most of them are work related, so just dull.
Absolutely. Matt Stanley says, "How to Boil an Egg, Volume 1." Still can't believe that's even a book. It marks Mark Gerling, even when watching Newcastle fans celebrate Marcus Evans to support their club. Look, Newcastle fans are really looking for. They're like we were, George, a couple of months ago when the Americans to go for either our club. That euphoric, he's gone moment.
Yeah, I saw one of the. I think he was a podcast chap being interviewed outside of St James's Park earlier, and he was speaking very similarly to how I think a lot of us were feeling earlier in the year, last year, about our takeover potential when it suddenly popped up. But he was talking with trepidation, but basically saying we just need to get rid of what we've got right now. So how much worse can it be?
Well, no, exactly.
I fear they might find out. But,
they will, but they're in a little bit of a better position than us. I can't cry too much just because Ashley was many things for the Premier League team. They still are. Tom James says it's a cracking read. Is the How to Boil an Egg Volume 1. Wow, Tom, we're in for a good night. Beans on Toast says, or for beginners says Legacy Bates. Coxie says full bookshelves good for effect. George, audio books are much better, says Stephen Parry. Are you an audio book fan, George?
No, I'm not. But I probably should be given the amount that I read. The other side is all board games. You can't see that. I'll one week I'll change my angle slightly.
I love a good board game night, me. Right, you've heard the man in the chat. You've seen his jokes. He brings the flair. It is, of course, our Voom. Feel alive, Tom James. How are you doing, my friend?
I'm very well, thank you. How are you?
Good. You've gone for the more working class traditional background with the darts board. You're really playing to the roots there, George, fucking TJ. One of you two, both of you two. It's gonna be a long night. You've both come dressed as each other.
Yeah, you didn't get the memo about the great.
Yeah.
No, my glasses are in the car, I think, so I can't even pretend, and put my glasses on. But TJ, it's been a minute. How's things been since the last time we sat down and did a Talking Town production with each other? How's life treated you?
Yeah, it's not too bad, thank you. Just been cracking on, caught up with town and seeing what's going on, and still not a lot.
It's another egg pun. It's another egg pun. He's cracking on.
I didn't even mean that one, so sorry, everyone. Yeah, it's been a bit of an average week, isn't it, really? And we need to really pull it out the bag on Saturday. Otherwise, I think the buzzards are going to be circling at this rate.
The buzzards. I mean, before the show, I was middle class buzzards, vultures, Tom. Vulture.
No, buzzards works.
It does. I just don't know anyone who said buzzard. George, if you're going to say...
I'm not getting embroiled into this class war. It's all right before the show. I'm not doing it like...
Absolutely. Poppycock.
As he says from his tumbler. Well played. And then he sucks from his pint. Look at this, ladies and gentlemen. Talking Town, bring every sort of banter to the table. It's all banter. Hovercat says these words in them they're colouring or dot to dot. Don't diss a good colouring or dot to dot book. I love a good dot to dot myself. I do it for my son, obviously, but you do get some enjoyment. Good evening, Mr. Tuxford. Welcome in. Are you, just as we sort of change things up and turn it up a notch, are you both subscribed to the YouTube channel, gentlemen?
Yeah, I've been for months.
Yeah. Have you really? Well, you've got to be. And if you're not, you need to question yourself why, particularly when legends of our football club.
Hi, Marcus Stewart here. So to subscribe to Talking Town, search for Home Dressing Room on YouTube. hit the subscribe button and enjoy the content. Simples.
And if you don't subscribe, we will not let him out. We will not let him see his family again, and we will not feed him. So, those are the terms of the hostage situation. Subscribe, or Marcus Stewart never gets let out of the cellar again. No, I'm joking. But it was a great video to receive, that, gentlemen, as you can imagine. I didn't even know I was getting it. And
this crunch working his magic.
The postman, yes, well, yeah, but apparently so, and there's more in the pipeline. So I don't know what names he's bringing up, but yeah, most awkward. Tucker says most awkward bloke ever. Let's just say Tucks, subscribe or we ain't going to be let out. I love it, absolutely love it. Crunch says the postman has delivered. Yeah, let's bring it on to Gillingham now. Steve Evans talks out of his ass, always blaming everyone apart from his team and his shit management. Well, let's look at Gillingham. Now, gentlemen, a sort of a full stop on that game. A win in the Papa John's Cup, clean sheet. I'm going to ask you, did it buy Paul Cook some breathing time, do you feel? Or do you feel this game was absolutely irrelevant, whether we won it 8-0, lost it 8-0, or as it was the case may be 2-0? George?
I don't think it would have bought him breathing space particularly. I think he made 11 changes, so it's not like we can say the team that were bang average on Saturday have improved. I'm not sure that it will have done. I don't think it will have made a huge amount of difference unless we've been absolutely routed. But yeah, I can't remember. I think probably the league is what's going to make the biggest difference, and consistency there, rather than losing and losing, drawing, winning, losing, drawing through the league, and then winning cup games is not going to keep his job.
Particularly the Papa John's one. Tom, it is a competition we have to enter, because that's the level of the football club right now. And there was a lot of debate on social media the day after involving the fishermen and lots of town fans in regards to the merits of going to Wembley or getting to Wembley in the Papa John's, and how you would view it, treat it, experience it, etc. Is it a competition, because it has a Wembley day out at the end of it, that we should be aiming to get to Wembley? Or is it something that we should maintain, as some were saying, a standard that it's beneath us, this competition, even with Wembley at the end of it, it's beneath us. We don't care for this competition. We just want to get out of this league, blah, blah, blah. Which sort of the fence do you kind of fall on?
Oh, a lot of people seem to think League One is beneath us and we're in this competition and we have to get out of it. So if you think it's beneath us, then try and win it or get out of it and do your best in it. So happy we won. I'm not, I hope that I want the team to win every game. And I think most people do want that, to be honest. But yeah, I'd rather the league over this tournament. But if we get to the final, it's a really good day out. I've been to the final of this competition 7 years ago with Peterborough, who are my second team because I grew up there. And we played Paul Cook's Chesterfield with Sam Morsey in the team. Gary Roberts was in the team, and Posh won 3-1. And really good day out. They took pretty much the whole city down there. And it's really good. I don't think if we got to the final, all town fans would just not go out of spite or something like that. I think that would be a really weird approach. I think we'd all really enjoy a trip to Wembley regardless of the competition. So I think we need to treat it as such that it's winnable and we can win it. We've got the squad to do it, which we haven't had for years. So we need to get on with it and just win it.
Yeah, absolutely. We've got Mark Tuxford. I heard a rumour that Ipswich are one of the handful of clubs who haven't played the new Wembley. The Cruncher says all the moaners will be at Wembley 100% if we got there. We would take 40,000. Stephen Barry, I'd rather at least the players in a final and just don't miss it. Tim Molden, we've got a bigger squad, so why not? I know my 6-year-old would love a day at Wembley, and you've got kids, George. And anytime you win a piece of silverware, the kids don't look at it as Mickey Mouse, do they? So it's the same sort of questions to yourself there. What do you feel about it?
Yeah, I think it's if we get to Wembley, no one's going to turn their nose up at it and go, "Oh, it's just the Papa John's Trophy." Or few people are, and I mean, that's crazy. But we're not obviously taking it that seriously as a football club. We made 11 changes on Tuesday, and right now we're in relatively dire straits from a league perspective. So if we were taking it that seriously, we'd probably be trying to get our first 11 to show some kind of consistency potentially. But I'm not against the Papa John's Trophy, but it's our reserve cup competition, isn't it? We're not treating it like it's the FA Cup or even the what's the Carling Cup called now? Carabao Cup.
The Carabao, yeah.
You know, we're not treating it as seriously as that. So I have no ill will towards it particularly, but it doesn't really feel like the club are taking it hugely seriously.
No.
I think going on Cruncher's message there as well, we've had so many years of dross where this next generation of kids, for many people on this platform, they've got kids and they're growing up watching absolutely nothing. Imagine if we get to Wembley and that's one of their first experiences watching Ipswich and they go, oh, this is great. And it's a new generation of kids who might not know the significance of the cup, but they've gone to Wembley with their team and their parents or carers or whoever they are, and they've had a really good day out. And that sets a really good bar going forwards, I think. So I think
we're getting to a point where that's true of some of the parents of these kids.
Yeah, true.
Which is terrifying. Like,
yes,
I was at Wembley in for the Perth final, and
so
I know a lot of people are of a good age are too young to have been there, which is just feels crazy.
Yeah, you both made some really good points there, and it is crazy, and we are getting to the point where a generation now haven't seen us lift a single piece of anything, and in fact, not really seen us progressing in cups past the third round, maybe even the fourth round. You know, a cup win, as Tuesday was, is rare for this football club over the last God knows how long. The question I'd ask yourself is, and how do you approach it? Because obviously we're nowhere near Wembley at the moment, and as somebody has rightly said, we've got to get past Colchester yet and get out of the group. How do you approach it then? So do you approach the 3 group games you've got in the way we have done, with 11 players, completely changed, and then the moment you reach the knockout, do you then sort of maybe kick it up a gear and keep that 11 from Saturday with 2 or 3 changes? It's a bit like how Arsenal managed used to manage the Carabao Cup, and they got all the way to the final, and then would you play your number 1 goalkeeper in goal once you're in the final? How would you both manage it? Let's just live in fantasy land for a second, and we get out of the group, as rare as that is, and it's a good chance we could do. Do you approach it with your strongest team and take it a little bit more seriously now you've got that run into Wembley, or do you keep it the way we've kept it, and very much it's not a priority, and if the also ran players get us there, like Miles Kenlock and Caden Jackson, they can play in the final and so be it? How would you both sort of see this, Tom?
That is a bloody good question.
Thank you.
Yeah, very good question. I think we should just be looking to manage the team in these early rounds, and we've got the squad depth more than enough to get farther into this competition. And if it was me, I probably would play my best team towards the end, because if you want a winning culture, you play your best players. But I think the earlier rounds, I think it's an opportunity for the fringe players to play because the focus is on the league. But if you have a weekend at Wembley out and it kind of has that connotation, then I think that is fine. I think it's a bit harsh on some of these players, but I'm sure they've been told at the start of the season, you're here to be on the fringes. If you wanted to go, you could have gone. Sorry, but it's tough luck.
Absolutely. George, before you answer that question, we've got a few comments. We've got Rob Smith, the 11 reserves are good enough. Keep it to the semis, says Stephen Parry. We've got Jordan. Never mind the kids. I'm 28 and haven't seen us above the championship and been to town games since I was 11. Keon says, let's bin it off. Mr. Ipswich Town, welcome in, sir. The 11 we used on Tuesday would get us into the top 10 in League One, to be fair. The Cruncher asks, how many likes for tonight's show? Well, we started the show with 8. So, George, how many likes should this show have this evening, please, sir?
I can't remember what I said last time, but we beat it. So let's go with 150. I think I said 100 last time, right?
You did. 150 likes. Let's get 150 likes. Otherwise, Marcus Stewart again won't be fed. As again, Mark Dowling. The Cups are the only game some of these players will play in all season. Hovercat's done it. TJ's on fire tonight, says Matt Stannard. Your defense is terrified. TJ's on fire. No. Right, George, over to you. What same questions as I asked Tom?
It would depend entirely on how we're doing in the league. For me, I think. I don't know when do the finals come round for Papa John's?
I want to say something like February time, but while I'm looking that up,
I think it will. If it becomes the thing that we're playing for this season, which that's
God,
that could come around quicker than we want it to.
That's a kick in the gonads if it is.
Then I think that we'll start to see an improved team based on what's going at the moment. But I would just play it based on how the league season's going. If we're somehow in the top 6 come, then who knows? But I wouldn't change it too much, and I don't think they will change it too much. It's a big squad. We want to keep that squad fit, and we've obviously got. Equally, we want to keep them in tune with how Cook supposedly wants this team to play. So they need to be able to drop into it and maintain the consistency that we're about to get.
Mm-hmm. Okay, absolutely. We've got April the 3rd is when it is. Mark Tuxford, Gov, would you come on and take a penalty if it went to squeaky bum time in a shoot? Absolutely, categorically no, Mr. Tuxford. I do not take penalties. I took one penalty. I've taken 2 penalties actually in my life. One was when I was 11 and I missed. And then it took me right up to the age of 23 to take my second one and I missed. So me and penalties, it took me 3 attempts. Well, 4 attempts to pass my driving test. So me and pressure, we tend to not mix. So absolutely not. George, would you come on if it's squeaky bum time, take a penalty?
No, I bloody wouldn't.
Absolutely. TJ, would you?
My right foot's like a sandwich.
TJ?
EFL trophy, I would. I wouldn't in a playoff final.
Yeah, well, there you go. You see, Fisherman says Gov would replace our goalkeeper. Well, I've got nothing. I've got no problem when managers do that. By the way, also this whole new bringing players on to take penalties. I've got no problem with that either. I think I've got no problem with that. It's a bit. Well, that's for another show. Colin Plum, Mark Rattle, are we going to Cambridge United together? Gov, me, you, and Andy. Smart down. Seriously, if you're watching this live now, you've zero excuse for not hitting the like button. And if you're watching it back on catch up, you've got zero excuse for for not hitting the like button. Bigger question says Legacy Bates is: will Cook be here in April? I've got a feeling I don't know what George is going to say on that one, but TJ, that's the big. We'll go with us as the live audience have asked you the question. Will Cook be here in April? That's a bigger question from Mike Brown.
I honestly don't know at the minute. I think it's been such a turbulent couple of weeks, and my mantra at the start of the season was we need to be in contention by the new year, and I think we're fine. But if it slips away in the next few weeks, and I can't see it, to be honest, okay. I hope we've got that level of expectation where we think we need to switch it up, even though I really want the guy to succeed. But
okay, well that leads me kind of on because you both mentioned the squad being so big. You've both mentioned the 11 changes. You've both mentioned the winning, and the chat have mentioned the culture. Let's bring in the tweet that Cruncher tweeted out on. I think it must have been Wednesday, right? He tweeted this out. Let me just see if I can locate it. I had all this set up before the show, and then. You see, this is what missing me and nerves. You see, me and nerves. We don't mix. You get a bit nervous. Your palms get sweaty. Your knees get heavy. Yeah, I know, but have you met the Cruncher? Like, if and he tweets a load of absolute bollocks. Let's be honest. So you're going through his timeline. It's like fucking hell. You tweeted that? No, I'm joking. I'm not joking. I am worried about what I'm going to be saying tonight. Right, here we go. This is it. This is the page, the Cruncher on Twitter. Here we go. He tweeted, important win last night. Winning becomes a habit. Culture needs to be built. And who would turn down a day at Wembley? We've left the Wembley. We've done the Wembley bit. But so Tuesday night, 2-0 win, Gillingham. Winning becomes a habit and the culture needs to be built. What do you both feel on that? Do you agree with the Crunch? Do you disagree with the Crunch? I made my comments quite clear and quite public on the day I read the tweet. I'll start with you, George, because you're smiling that right little smile of yours. So your cogs are going. I want to get there before your cogs erupt. Go for it.
I don't know. So I agree with. Can you put it back up again? I agree with bits of it. Absolutely, the culture The culture needs to be built. Winning does need to become a habit.
Does Tuesday do that? That's what he's saying. Does Tuesday is that the start of that culture and that habit?
Well, this comes back to my comment about the 11 changes. Is that it doesn't help the 11 that were bang average on Saturday, and I don't think it really helps the 11 that were bang average on Saturday when the 11 that were changed get praised to high heaven after the game. Mm-hmm. The 11 that played on Saturday were pretty relentlessly lambasted after the game on Saturday, and I suspect there's going to be 11 changes this Saturday. Okay. So I don't think it's helpful. I agree with Crunch in terms of, yes, the habits need to be built. I think the winning culture would be great. They need to get their heads up. They need to believe in themselves. They need to be better. And that's all of them, Cook included. And I know took a little bit of responsibility on after Saturday, but which was good to see because I was getting a little concerned about that too. But I think I agree with Crunch. I don't think that Tuesday was particularly helpful. Yes, you could argue as a club, we won the game, so there's a little bit of momentum there, but not for the 11 that didn't play, and not when they were so severely scathed after the game on Saturday. I just you can't have it both ways.
Okay. All right. Got a few comments for you coming there, TJ. We've got Legacy Bates, which was Mike Brown. You can't compare a Mickey Mouse Cup win with the league. Stephen Parry, totally. Even on the sideline, shows the first team that needs to be on the ball. Evening, Callie. Welcome in. We've got Josh Russell. I don't completely agree because it's a different team, and that team is not going to be the same as Saturday, is it? So it doesn't help them at all. Tuxford agreed with Cruncher on Twitter. Certainly wound up Evans the Pie Eater, says Rob Smith. Legacy Bates, winning the league is where it matters, not a 2-bit plastic cup. And then Mr. Richard Town says, honestly, guys, if Cook get the same back five, which he can't do because Miles Kenlock isn't registered for the league, how would you feel about it? Then back five do know how to keep a clean sheet, 16 last year. In fact, TJ, Cruncher's tweet, what do you, and obviously you heard George's comments there, what's your feeling on it?
Yeah, I agree that it's probably not as relevant to the starting 11 that we're accustomed to, but it's relevant to the coaching team and it's relevant to the players that we are hoping and knocking on the door of getting into the team. So we're going to talk about our starting 11s later, but Chaplin, in my opinion, would come into the starting 11 based on his performance. So these games are important for these players to say, I've performed well here. I want to be winning this game. Therefore, I want to put this into a team that's currently underperforming. So my mind is it feeds one into the other. And if we're talking about this competition being Mickey Mouse or whatever you want to call it, then if we do get to Wembley, we're not calling it Mickey Mouse. And then those starting 11 players in the league are going to want, I want a day out of Wembley now. And these players are going to be like, we fought for this. And there should be a good battle going in towards the latter end of the season where people are now fighting for league and cup based on what they're doing in either one. So I think winning does feed into that. And I think it shouldn't be as disregarded as it has been.
Okay, so I'll go further and I'll say, okay, so you look at the 11 that played on Tuesday: Holy in goal, KVY, Wolfenden, Enciala, Miles Kenlock. You had Elmizani. I'll call him Elmiz because I can't say the surname. Do apologise, Elmiz. Alongside Raheem Harper. Then we had Chaplin, Piggott, crumbs. I've reached that place where you get to a dead end. Edwards, and who was the other one? I'm thinking of the other one, but who was it? Piggott was up front. Edwards on the left. Then you had Chaplin, and who was the other one in the three behind the striker? Jackson, Caden Jackson. Thank you very much, Cruncher. Very glad you're here. So let's say he puts that 11 out Saturday, which he can't do because of Miles Kenlock. So let's say he puts Matt Penny in at left back, who's not done anything tremendously wrong and isn't too much of an upgrade or a drop off to Miles Kenlock. How do you react Tuesday? If I tell you that now, if I tell you I've been told inside information and that's the team because they've won the game and we want to keep the confidence and breed the culture and keep the habit. What's your reaction and what's the live chat's reaction? Talk to me on that. What would you feel?
It's not going to happen.
But let's just say it does. Let's just say it does. What are you feeling?
I think it was bonkers.
You think it would be bonkers?
Yeah, because he didn't change the 11 because it's such a drastic change to change 11 players from league to cup, and he didn't change them because they were all garbage. That's not my words or his, but I'm just saying he didn't change them because they were all garbage on Saturday. He changed them because of how we're approaching the cup. So it wasn't a kind of get out to all of those 11. And if these guys perform and win, then we're going to swap you over. So yeah, I think it would be bonkers. But I kind of feel that about swapping 11 players out between cup games, because it just the winning momentum is one thing, but the playing momentum is another. And having this sort of two separate teams, and I agree with TJ to a point in terms of
Blue Boy, £5. Thank you very much, Blue Boy. Sorry, George. Thank you very much for the £5 super sticker. Love it. See, you mentioned playing Caden Jackson, and the money starts rolling.
Yeah, I agree with TJ to a point about the competition towards the end of the season. But at the same time, I don't think it's hugely healthy when you form this kind of two-team, because they're not a reserve team, and you don't want all of those players getting to the end of the season having played the entire cup competition up to the semi-finals, and then Cook turning around and going, right, thanks chaps, now we're going to put the first team in because we need to win this game, because that's not going to help anyone. They're going to go, oh, thanks, Gaffer, and I don't think that's quite the right approach either. So this sort of complete change backwards and forwards is, I'm not comfortable with it. Okay,
safety guy 20. It's nice that our fans are not being. It's nice that our fans are now being realistic and not overly excited because we beat the Gills. He obviously won't play that 11. I was playing devil's advocate there in the sense of the winning culture and the habits, because as I said publicly to the Crunch, I actually said we ain't getting to Wembley because I don't think we're going to go all the way to Wembley. Winning is a habit, but only if those who won play again. How many will play in the main 11 Saturday? 1, possibly 2. Winning, therefore, is nice, but for the habit of winning, irrelevant with a capital I. And I do feel that, because it's almost I would put it next to the under 23s winning a game, because it's almost irrelevant in the sense of Miles he can't play in the first team. Caden Jackson has been on the bench, could maybe, but the fans obviously aren't warming to him. Macaulay Bomb wasn't playing, and I struggle with the whole, it breeds the habit, because they're not going to play again. But it's a good point, Cruncher, and many do agree with him.
Those players, may have come in on Wednesday on a high, but most of them know, and some of them for sure know that they're not going to play on Saturday.
Well, Mike Kenlock definitely does.
Yeah, and that's what I mean. And that's where it just doesn't quite play. Like it's. Because they're not going to, the players that didn't play on Tuesday night aren't going to, I wouldn't have thought, bounce in on Tuesday morning and be like, awesome work, chaps. Now I believe in myself more. So here we go Saturday.
Talking of Saturday, there is guaranteed one position that's going to need filling. First of all, Tuxley wants positivity. We'll get to the final. The Durrants, I read this wrong to start off with, and I thought he was accusing us of it. But thanks to everyone at Talking Town. We have a house full of COVID, so we'll miss Saturday's game. We will keep watching you guys and value all your opinions. The Durrants, I hope you get well soon. I really, really do. But I read that initially as...
Thanks to Talking Town, we've got a house full of COVID.
I thought, how's he coming up with this Talking Town's fault? I mean, I'm not quite sure my insurance policy would cover that. We've got a claim here from the Durrants. What's that about then? You're giving them COVID. I don't what? Right. No, but get well soon. I honestly mean that. Crunchy, I'll be lapping it up when I get to Wembley. I certainly will be. But if you ever see me in a half and half scarf, you all have position. You all have permission to shoot me. Absolutely shoot me, because I never ever want to be in a half and half scarf. They're the worst things created since I don't know. Tim Walden. It was a useful game for KVY, Chaplin, Edwards, and Piggott, and Elmis. Potentially 2 or 3 of those should be starters on Saturday, at the very least, subs rating to get on and have an impact. I do like Tim. Does bring some good moments. Callie, having a good dressing room is key though, and this helps. I actually think it's this may be the opposite, but that's for another show. I feel. I actually think the more you have a reserve team in quotes winning and a main team not winning,
it's the volume. It really is. It's the number of players.
Yeah, but I just feel like if I'm winning my games that you're playing me in, and I can't get past the players that aren't performing well, I would then turn around and be saying, I want to leave the moment I can.
What have I got to do?
Where's the pathway for me to play? You play me to play well, so I play well and we win, but I can never get in the main team. But that's for another show, I feel. But there's that, again, like Cruncher's tweet, there's that difference of opinion, and that's the beauty of this show. It really is. Daniel Barnard, Kenlock, Wolfenden, Jackson, and Norwood could be gone by January. Possibly to see a Luco go and El Miz. Mike Brown's new name is Flip Flop Weatherman, says the Cruncher. Cruncher, Talking Town minibus when we go to Wembley. That'd be really good. I really like that. And Monty, in my opinion, if we were to lose Saturday, we'll start looking for a new coach. Sorry, guys. Talking of Saturday, as I say, one position is definitely needing to be filled. That's Bersant Salinas. He will be playing for Kosovo in international duty. So,
take him out of my 11.
Yes, yes. I didn't even do your 11, to be fair, George, because TJ sent me. I'm going to show it though. TJ sent me a lovely graphic, beautiful graphic, right? George sent me a handwritten, scribbled note, and handwritten note. It was scribbled, and so it's almost like the doctor had written it. But so I was going to show it on WhatsApp and say, "Look at this, ladies and gentlemen, pen and paper." He's like me. He's old school. I've got more pads here, George, honestly. I've got more pads. Oh, it's not in pad. Oh, I thought of someone like me. I've got so many pads here because I'm so old school. I mean, look, I've even got a typewritten bit of paper. Anyway, Bersant Salinas can't play. Who comes in for him then? Who performed on Tuesday enough to say, elbows out, this is my position, you ain't taking it from me? TJ.
Chaplin.
Why?
Scored a good goal. I think he looked busy enough, and I think he's clearly a good enough player based on his form at Barnsley last season that he should be playing in League One. And I think he gets in ahead of Edwards, who's been either not playing or a bit inconsistent in his latter games with us. And I think Chaplin's got a bit more about him at this time. But Edwards is an incredible option off the bench. So we're spoiled, really. It's just the team that needs to get it together.
Okay. One word answer, George. Is your answer going to be Pigott? So in that case, TJ, in that case, as Tuck says, Chaplin or Pig. How do you feel about Pigott potentially playing in that number 10 role and maybe having Bon and Pigott that way or that way and playing off each other in that sense? How do you feel about that one?
I don't know. I don't know what he's like in a number 10. But then again, there's been a lot of chat on Twitter about formations today. And the 4-4-2 thingy that Mike Bacon said is what we do. Is that effectively a 4-4-2 with a bit more width? It might be. So it could work. But if we're sticking to this supposedly rigid 4-2-3-1, then I'll go for Chaplin because of that fluidity that we assume he's got.
As a wise man once said, systems don't make players, players make systems. I don't know who said that, but it was a wise man, good man, overachieved with a lot of dross. I'm not sure who said it, but maybe you had a clue there. I don't know. George, who would start in place of Bersant Salinas for you?
I'd agree. I think
£10, Sarah Davis. Sarah Davis. Love it, Sarah. Thank you very much. You see?
Why does this keep happening? Are people just trying to stop me talking?
You say Caden Jackson's name, you get money coming in, but it's £5. You show Paul Lambert, and £10 turns up. Because what Sarah really knows is she's privy to some information behind the scenes. Is that you've got to pay Paul Lambert his royalties by law. I've got to show him at least once a show, and then I've got to pay him some royalties. You see, so Sarah's just helping out on that, really. But
probably
thank you, Sarah.
Him his severance, aren't we? I think Chaplin based on how he played on Tuesday, but as TJ says, we're sort of spoilt really for choice. I think Edwards could easily slot in there, but I'd be surprised if he does after Tuesday night.
So who's sorry? I was reading I was reading the comments and totally not listening. So fuck on what you just said. Who's playing number 10?
Nod and agree. Number 10. Fraser's going to play number 10, right?
Oh, so who's playing for Bersant Salinas then?
Do we not keep playing? So I'd put Chaplin out and play Fraser in the middle. I mean, we keep having this conversation. Was Fraser not the best number 10 in League One last season?
Well, he's been the best number 10 for the last couple of seasons, so people tell me.
So we just need to. I don't know. playing there.
I agree with you. So this is how I'd do it, George. I would play Edwards wide left, bring Fraser into the middle, and I'd play Wes Burns out on the right. So it'd be Edwards, Fraser, Burns with Bon up the top, because I'm with you. Scott Fraser has been the best number 10 at MK Dons, but the league, so the stats tell me, for the last couple of years, but yet he's played almost everywhere but number 10. But when he has played the number 10 role, which was Doncaster, albeit they were poor, we were running rampant, he looked good. His goal opening day of the season was in that number 10 pocket of space. I think this is a great opportunity for him to sort of play from minute one with players around him that are fast and have ability. Is that how you see it, George?
Yeah, I think I just feel like we need to give him a run in that role, because he's been so consistent over the last couple of seasons in that position. And why did we bring him in? It feels, and I guess you could say the same about Chapman. We're just so spoiled for choice in that front four. It's ridiculous. How are we in the position we're in this league? It's just mind-boggling. I would think that playing this persistent formation that Cook is just insistent about playing, that he would have those sort of 6 or 7 players who he considers for those roles just so well drilled that it almost doesn't matter. Because we should be in a position where if he doesn't want to change the formation, if the team isn't quite working, he just clicks his fingers and 2 of them swap, and they just fall into those positions. And I know it's not that easy, and I'm a shit footballer, so I have no idea what I'm talking about, but it feels like we should be in a position with all of this choice where if we're going to keep playing this formation, then, and so belligerently, that we should just be so much better drilled at it that it's frustrating me.
I don't think it's the formation that's the issue. I sort of bang my head against the wall, like when I read people like Mike Bacon's article on 442, and you're missing. For me, you miss people when you write about a formation like that. For me, you're missing the point of what the issue is, and you're sort of making it something that it's not. But as you say, we should be more drilled in it. Defensively, we're not drilled in it at all. We're so poor defensively. And you're right, he can just click his fingers like that. And that's what he did. And that's what I was referring to at Doncaster when he moved Fraser inside, moved Sin to the left. And we created 2 goals, possibly even 3, just like that. He's got that ability in the locker room.
And that's the adaptability that I've talked about before. I'm not, when I say, it's his in-game management that's a concern. I'm not just talking about the fact that he's not going, hang on a minute, guys, maybe try 4-4-2. Because it's not that straightforward. I'm not dumb enough to pretend that it is, but he needs to be able to adapt, even if it's just the personnel on the pitch at the time. Again, I know we talk a lot about him making subs too late, but it's about the players that he's got. He's so spoiled for choice, and I worry a little bit that he isn't quite up to it. I still worry that we've only got half of the management team that we wanted.
Well, with Richardson, yes. Obviously, with Wigan doing so well, TJ, it's no one mentioned Wigan if you're a Cook fan, because it's like that's not going to go well for you, Chief. Only half the management team. I'm not going to ask you to follow up on that point because I do want to keep it a little bit more upbeat, a little bit more positivity. We do get criticism sometimes that we are a little bit negative. But who was I telling today? I was telling somebody. I think I was telling me mum. We could only present to the fans what the football team presents to us. And what Georgia said is very true. And at the moment, we've not been presented with anything by the football team, sadly. There's lots of options, as George says, TJ. The assistant is a bone of contention for fans. Do you feel we should be looking at an assistant? Obviously, Liam Richardson isn't available, but do you feel he should be?
I feel like if it's put on us or Mark Ashton or anyone else to do that, then it's undermining his authority and his choice, and it means we're a club that is run by the CEO, not the management team. And if that's Cook's choice, he has to fall on his sword if it goes wrong. And we can't be imposing or saying you have to have an assistant mate, because that means, is this person then going to be the next manager, or is this person just going to bugger off as soon as Cook buggers off if it doesn't work out? So we have to kind of let Cook, who is an experienced manager, make that call, I think.
Yes.
And if it doesn't work, he will lose his job for it.
Co says the brains is at Wigan, the barman's at Ipswich. Safety guy 20. His inflexibility around formation, maybe the final now. It's not one size fits all, unfortunately. Monty says don't be letting us to roll him over. We have to earn it. Absolutely have to earn every single game. Legacy says the sword is being sharpened. Give it to Chris Tuamia to end of the season, says Mark. He also asks who's going to Portsmouth and Cambridge away. I'm doing Cambridge, but not doing Portsmouth. Not there. I'll be doing it from a comfort of this seat right here. I just say what, let's bring the prediction league in before we carry on the conversation. The prediction league is now in play for week 9. We had an absolute bumper, and I mean bumper entry last week. A record number. 100 people of you entered. Thank you so much. The games this week are Ipswich Town versus Shrewsbury, no surprise there. Morecambe versus Cambridge. Ipswich Town FC Women's versus MK Dons Women's, and Southend versus Chesterfield. The Southend fans, George, they obviously their chairman's surname is Martin, and they gave my lovers and my haters on Twitter some perfect ammunition midweek with the Martin out banners and the audio of "We want Martin out." Say "We want Martin out." So that's out there now for them to use. How do you see that game going for them? Is it now like every game Southend are involved, we're probably going to get a defeat because the owner's getting hounded, the management team are obviously in a bit of, whatever. How do you see that one going?
Yeah, I did look. You'll have to remind me what my prediction was, but I feel like Chesterfield were on a half decent run, so I think I think I put it for Chesterfield, didn't I? Remind me what my prediction was.
Give me just a moment, sir. You said 3-1 Chesterfield.
There you go. Yeah. I don't see it going too many more ways than that, to be honest.
Okay, absolutely. TJ, I'm going to give you the wild card from this week, which is Andorra versus England. Absolute powerhouses of Andorra hosting the minnows of England. What do you see? I mean, that's obviously going to be one way traffic only. But what way do you see it going, Tom?
I'm going to go for England on this occasion.
Shock.
And I think it'll be 4-0.
4-0. Yes, that is what George said. In fact, looking through, that is one of the most selected score lines.
I think that's how we beat them last time, isn't it?
Yeah, near enough everybody except a handful have said so far 4-0. So if you want the points for the league table, do you follow them? So if they get the points, so do you. Or do you go something else? So
don't have to worry about my points. I've got like 3.
Well, let's look at the league table. George, you may want to close your eyes at this because
no, it's fine.
As a designer, this will hurt you.
That hurts.
Traumatize you. And this will really play with you. But there we go. We got Mike Woods, first of all, 21 points. Rob Smith in second. Trevor in third. Taylor Paul in fourth. And Paul Birch now in fifth. There's a whole lot of you on 9 points after that, from Mike Finch down to Ben Moore, would you believe? The man gets found minus fantasy points in the English Premier League fantasy football, but here he is on 9 points. And then after that, we have got a whole host of you on 6. I want to shout out 2 people. Huey Stannard on 9. He's a great player, Huey. He is like points. He is so Mr. Consistent. But Ian Houston started playing this game 3, possibly 4 weeks ago now. And he's already right in the pack, right in the mix. That's how easy, and that's how, if you're skilled, that's how well you can, if you're skilled. Dan Barnard asked where he is. Dan, you are on 3 points. You are the first name with 3 points there, just above Callie. Mark Dowling's in there. What I have said is, for all those that are inside the top 10, come the 30th of October, that's our next spot prize. The top 10 will all go into a random draw. The first 5 will get double entry into that. So you'll count twice for a new copy of the brand new Football Manager 2022. If we get a situation like we have currently, where you've got a whole host of people on 9 points, I will include all of those on 9. So it won't be cut off at, say, just very quickly, Emerson. it would include Rich, Simon, Ben, or whatever. Because that's the only fair way to do it, really. Because you're all on the same amount of points. Prediction League, the second table. There we go. That is the page one continued. Again, all very close. 3 points. Literally, you only need a couple of right results and you're banging. And then we've got a third page. Oh, look, all this space. Oh, look, Matt Phillips on 0. Poor
I can't believe I'm below that third page.
You're not on there at all, are you, T?
I'm not on there at all.
No, well, I didn't want to upset you, so I didn't know how you'd take that sort of banter. I know Matt, is a bit
I didn't know you did
short,
minus
so.
points on this.
Well, no, that's the other one that Ben is consistently getting. But Jordan says, "Can I start the prediction league, or is it too late? Where's the info?" The info is just here, Jordan. It's the link. Just hit the link. Takes 60 seconds. It's those fixtures. You've got to predict the correct score, not who's going to win. Not interested in who's going to win. The exact correct score. So if you think Andorra are going to get a goal, you need to put it in blah blah blah. And I'll definitely need your name and email or Twitter handle. You need that information, otherwise your entry will not count. At the start we had a few Georges, and as George rightly said at the very start, which one is me and which one is other people? And I went, got a good point here, George. So since
I'm
then,
one at the bottom.
You are. Since then, we've included that. But it's a great competition, Jordan, and it's so close, as you can see, that it's just well worth entering. Back to the town chat. Tell me if I'm wrong here, but I'm getting the feeling, and that the fan base really it's not only split. That's a given between those that want Cook, like Cook, and those that don't like Cook. I'm getting the feeling really as a fan base collectively, we're all sort of holding our breath here ahead of Saturday, and we're all a little bit hurt from last weekend, and a little bit hurt from, God help League One tweets and the new era coming in with lots of money and the players bringing in like Morsey from Championship level and the quality we've brought in, and we're just a little bit hurt that it's not gone the way we wanted it to go early doors. We're a little bit hurt that we are 19th. We haven't being consistent, and we're all now just holding our breath with not even expectancy, just this game is a big game. Is that a fair assessment, George? Is that how you see the fan base as we enter the weekend?
Yeah, it's weird. I was talking to my dad about this the other day, in terms of having a bit of a rant about the situation at the moment, and I think I sounded like a dad in it. I did the classic. I'm not angry. I'm disappointed. It's different to last year with Lambert, where I was just frustrated with how just shocking every decision he seemed to make was. I genuinely root for Paul Cook. Like, it's really, it probably doesn't come across, but I genuinely do root for Paul Cook and this squad. I'm just disappointed by most things he seems to do and say at the moment, which is frustrating. But yeah, I think Shrewsbury's every game at the moment is not do or die, but it's super important to for the club and for Paul Cook's future. So yeah, I think Saturday's going to be tricky atmosphere.
Okay. TJ, Mark says, don't hold your breath, lads. You'll get a headache. Cookie knows what he's doing. 3 points on Saturday. But then you've got 4 comments up. James B, Saturday's game is so important. Please quieten your pussy down there, Tom. James, so, very, even those 2 comments are split, right? And for those that don't know, TJ's got a pussycat in the room with him. Where are you on it? Because even in the comments, look, right there, bang, split.
Yeah, I think I agree as well about the whole, I'm not angry, I'm just disappointed. I am keeping the faith with Cook because I like the guy. He's got a good track record, and I can see we're playing better and we've got the players to do it. It's more frustration and disappointment that it's not come quicker. But there is time, which is good. I think the aim is the playoffs now, which is disappointing given the expectation we had at the start of the season. And I think we have to aim for the playoffs now. And I don't doubt we can do it. So I can see why some fans are split, because we were all taken on this ride and it's not gone the way we thought yet. And it's just down to whether you've got that patience to wait it out a bit and you can see the progress. on the pitch, not the results.
But do you feel it's not just about the patience anymore? Do you feel it's like this the big even the pro cookie fans that are saying be patient are holding their breath ahead of this weekend, because this is a result really, whichever camp you sit in, whichever camp you have your banner in, you've bend the knee for. This is the start of a game or a series of games where if you fall flat on your face as a cookie supporter, where do you kind of go from there? That's my opinion. It's like if you're a cookie doubter and you want the team to win, but everyone's sort of holding their breath, sort of saying we had the upturn in form. Proved last week was an anomaly. Is that sort of fair? Am I getting the right sort of vibe and feeling from the fan base?
I don't really think anyone's opinion is that wrong. There is, an element of you're allowed to be pissed off at this, and that's fine. But you're also allowed to feel optimistic about it, and that's also okay as well. Because if you see a long-term project that you've been sold, then you try and buy into it because of what we've had before has just been absolute. There's been no planning, no long-term vision, no strategy. We've got a strategy in place that has been told to us clearly and it's been communicated. And it's just whether you're on board with it and you can wait a bit. And I completely understand that it's rubbish. We need to start by winning 2 games in a row, which is we need to just start something like this. And if we do lose again on Saturday, then I can completely get why you'd be disheartened. I think we will win, but we need to follow these games up because there's too many false dawns at the minute. Yeah, and I've got faith, but it will wear thin the closer we get to the new year. But I'm hopeful we will do it.
I ask because when you do the role I do, and you do the shows that I do, and you speak to the people I speak to, and you've got the live chat as constant, instant feedback. As George was saying about Paul Lambert, it was very easy for myself to gauge where the fan base was under Paul Lambert. It was pure hatred, which was quite amusing for myself because I felt then, as it was proved now, he was performing what was almost a miracle with that bunch of players. To have it so competitive in the division in a top 9 spot all the way was what I was saying. This is what this squad is. He's kind of getting the most out of it. He can't get any more. But everyone felt differently at the time. And it's like, this squad's better than what he's getting out of it. But it was clear as host, everybody hated him. Everybody, except me. But with Cookie, it's very, very difficult. Some shows I'll do, and it'll be a very, cooks this, cooks that, cooks the other. Other shows I'll do, it'll be very pro-cook, and it'll be very this and patience. And so I just thought I'd ask you to sort of get some live chat feedback while we're talking, because it's almost like the sea. We're constantly sort of just in a fucking wave of we're up or we're down, but this feels like a huge game Saturday. It feels like the moment.
Yeah, I think the difference with Lambert though is he would say a performance was good when it was terrible, and Cook calls out when we have a bad performance, and we're on the same page with that. And I feel like that's why I'm in his camp, is because we agree, and we see what each other sees. Whereas Lambert was kind of trying to gaslight a lot of fans by saying these performances are great. This 1-0 loss was great. We really dug in, and it's like it was terrible. And I agree. I get your point where you probably think, oh, he was doing okay with that squad, but it was a squad that should have probably been okay. The league was terrible last year. In all honesty,
it ain't much better this year. We're just not great. That's my opinion on it. Anyway, Jordan, I like Cook as well, but time to jail is gone now. But who the fuck would be better? Daniel doesn't understand how Town score first. Can never hold the lead. What could it be? I don't understand. Cruncher said, just enjoy the ride, you miserable bastards. I've got the feeling he says that because he likes Cook. If he didn't like Cook, he would categorically, I promise you on my life, not be right in that sentence. Because if I had said that to him last year, just enjoy the ride, aren't you miserable bastards, under Lambert, when we weren't going to the games. You're not going to the games, just enjoy the game. Don't watch it. You don't have to be a part of it. You're not going to the game. He would have, sort of responded, not too unkind to myself. And rightly so.
I think he says it because he likes poking the bear. But
yeah, Cook is so likable. Everyone wants him to succeed. Sorry, I was going to get a few comments in.
I think that's it. I think that's a really good point. It's really difficult to not want Cook to succeed. But can I just really quickly go back to Tux's comment from before about Cook knows what he's doing? I think that hits it on the head for me, is that I've not been convinced yet that he does. And that's what I'm waiting for. And maybe, and absolutely, I want him to prove not me wrong, because I don't doubt that he does necessarily. I just haven't seen any evidence that he does yet. So without Richardson or without a better coaching team around him, I don't think it's not as simple as he needs an assistant. I think he's just maybe not picked the right coaching team, as I said before. But I think I'm yet to see any evidence that he knows what he's doing without Liam Richardson.
Okay. Well, yeah. But, and then again, that falls into the wait and see, the hold the breath.
Because, yeah, and that's fine. But how long for? How long do we have to be patient for?
Cruncher, we can't keep harping on about Lambert. He's not. No, but he is the last manager. He is. So when Lambert was here, we talked about Hurst, we talked about McCarthy. Like, this is how it works. This is your measuring stick, if you like. And he had Lambert's side and did a lot worse with it. I'll just remind you of that. Kelly Bisler could got some nice place with players that he didn't want to be here. Mark Dowling, competitive. What matches were you watching? We didn't compete under Lambert. I don't know. Sunderland away. We should have beaten Sunderland away. I don't think we'd even compete with Sunderland now, let alone then. Andy, how long are the people telling people to be patient? As agency, this is it. Great point, George. Andy follows it up. How long are the people telling people to be patient, willing to give Paul Cook? Josh says we were sixth when Cook came in. James B. When Burley first took charge, we played really well, sometimes then really bad, then all of a sudden it clicked. That was the Premier League, though, James. So that's a little bit different. Rob Smith, most years at this stage, there's a team at the top that ends up fighting relegation, and a team at the bottom that gets in the playoffs. Keep the faith. Absolutely. The coaching team's a smokescreen, says Stephen. It's as is formations. Chris Boyd. Totally agree. We have to look at the body of work, and he noted a team that rightly or wrongly were near playoff standard. It's been almost entirely downhill since, and unfortunately, it's even the chat is just so split. And I'm desperate for. I want to transport myself to 5 games time, because then I just feel like we're going to know either way, and I'm just desperate to get that. It's almost like purgatory, because I don't like the grey. I like black and I like white. I want to know, and I want to know now.
What we have to do right now is find consistency. It's not about winning on Saturday. Losing on Saturday is not good, because that's the wrong kind of consistency.
Can't happen. But losing can't happen.
But
can't happen, full stop.
We have to find some consistency, and unfortunately, that takes time. And Cook's running out of the number of games that I suspect they were going to be willing to give him to find consistency. You need 4 or 5 games to go unbeaten and win 3 of them. And at some point, someone's going to have to go, how much patience are we going to give him?
Well, this is it. And Gov wants to be right. He wants Cook out, says the Cruncher. Well, if that's what you think, if you honestly think that, then you maybe a little bit. I don't know. I'm not going to say what else.
I thought he was coming on. I thought you said he was coming on.
No. It's a show without Cruncher, but with Cruncher.
He's just hanging around.
Yeah. No, I don't do a Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. 6 shows a week, most weeks. I don't do 6 shows a week for this team to be a 3rd-tier team and to foul. Like, you do not devote that much love, passion, attention, have 4 notebooks full of content, ideas, suggestions. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm desperate for it to succeed, and if that is with Paul Cook, I don't care who the manager is, be it Paul Cook or Steve Evans, whoever needs to get this club performing. I just want this club to be performing and doing well and enjoying. And you're never happier than when your team wins, even against Gillingham midweek. So if you think I want the manager to foul and prove so I can be proved right, and you kind of don't know myself. I mean, I backed Lambert to the hilt, and I knew that was going to be a loser. That was obvious from the moment it all started to fall in. Shrewsbury then team. I've got your team here, T. Let's quickly have it, and we can discuss it. And George, you can tell us where you disagree. We've got Haladki in goal, who has come in and played really well. I think he's done really well. Danastian at right back, Edmondson, Burgess, and Coulson. If Coulson is fit, if Coulson is not fit, obviously you're going to go for Matt Penny, right?
Yeah, that's right. And the same, I only remembered Selena was out as well late on, so I've replaced him with Chaplin.
Okay, I like this. I like this one. Chris Boyd. In fairness, Cruncher, Gov has been totally consistent since Cook arrived, and the evidence just isn't there for him or I to change our minds. I love to be saying I'm wrong, but that needs points. And actually, if you looked at my headlines as a collage, it's Cook will get this right. Cook will get this right. Cook will get this right. Maybe Cook won't get it right, but the ingredients are there for someone to get it right. All a corner's been turned. Shit, he can't adjust in game. We're in trouble. That would kind of be how my stories this year go. Morsey and Evans in the midfield too. Selena, Chaplin, Burns, and Bond. George, that is TJ's wonderful 11 with some Vava Voom expertise. Where would you pick it apart? If you would pick it apart, maybe you.
No, I think I had Penny in because I assumed that Coulson wouldn't be fit. I had Selena as well, so we're both mistaken there. I think the only I kind of want there to be a place for Chaplin and Fraser in the team. So I don't know. Yeah. Why not? Let's try them both. I think I'd have Fraser and Chaplin and just play Fraser at 10 and see how Chaplin gets on. But like we said earlier, Edwards would be is a excellent choice there too. If again, like everyone, he can just find a bit of consistency. I think with my initial squad I sent you, I had KVY in at right back. I've got a real soft spot for KVY, but he's not going to put KVY in. I think he had some glowing things to say about Donatian after Saturday even, so I don't see him swapping him out.
Okay. No, I don't either. He's done well, to be fair to the Don.
Yeah. No, I've got I like Donatian. He was on my keep list in the summer as well, so I've got no issue with him at all. I've just got on his day, which he hasn't had for a little while, admittedly.
We've all got our soft spots, We've all got our soft spots for certain players or managers. Crunch 70. Well, I know better than anybody. Crunch 76. KVY is a busted flush, George. Stephen Barry. It's easy to say he will fail, but I'm willing to be proved wrong. I just want back whoever is manager. I just want success at any cost, at any price, a la the Watford model. Mark Tuxford. I do think Saneem is better out wide than in the middle. Blue Boy. We don't expect to win every game. Just back to back wins would be good. Is it a little bit, and there's not a question for you to answer, but is it too much for a team with a budget the size of ours to win 80% of its games? Is that too much to ask, or at least not get beat in 80% of its games? Like, I don't know if it is, because it's not like we're playing with Accrington Stanley's budget, is it? But Steve Evans, That was the whole point of the example. That was the extreme I was trying to portray. That I can't stand Steve Evans, but for my team to be successful, I would take Steve Evans in a heartbeat if I knew ahead of time he'd be the man that catapulted us into wherever we need to get to. That was kind of why I brought him into it for the example. I'm going to ask for your score predictions in a second, but first of all, talking about Accrington, I want to share this with you, get your thoughts on it as we head towards the climax of this show. You may have seen it on Twitter today. You may not have seen it on Twitter today. Before we do so, I want to wish Joe Sheehan, the Ipswich Town FC women's manager, a huge amount of good luck for Sunday. And it is his 50th competitive game in charge of the ladies team. A huge well done to Joe. That's a big landmark. Well deserved. Great manager. Progressive manager. And I hear we can change it in game as well. So I'm ticking all the boxes today. Here we go. I think this is it. Can you see? Is that me there on the screen? Yes. So Andy Holt tweeted this today. And it was a conversation he had with Cam Burgess' agent. And I hope you can now see it more clearly on the screen. But it's between Andy Holt and Cam Burgess. Sorry, it says, Cam, I've been talking to Ipswich. Feel free to talk to them with your agent on terms. Don't get a shit deal, mate. Holty. Then Cam replies saying, hi, Holty. Appreciate the message. We'll let my agent know and you can make contact. Holty then says, top man. Coley, which is obviously manager John Common, is a bit reluctant, but if we get a decent fee, I want players to get their moves. You've been great for us and deserve it if it works for you. Cameron says it'd be great for it to work out for everyone, but first again tomorrow, in which Andy says, I love that, Cam, but the deal is concluded. You won't be playing tomorrow. You're a proper professional. And then we've got, thanks, Holt. Enough less than 3 points. My agent Colin has asked for your, this is my favourite bit. My agent Colin has asked for your number to give you a call if you don't mind. And then Andy's put, I'm on the beer, mate. which I just think is absolutely brilliant. How normal is that? Like, even though he owns a football club, it's probably worth more than I'll ever even think about seeing in my life. I'm on the beer. A man that's got his priorities absolutely nailed on correctly.
It's not a no, though, is it?
No. And then Cam's put no problem. And then it's like, did you get sorted? He says, pretty much done, medical, etc. And then Holty's put, as long as you get a great deal that you're happy with, I'm happy. And that's kind of it. I just want to highlight it and get your thoughts on it. Owner and player, the inner workings, posted to that on Andy Holt's Twitter. I'm a big fan of Andy Holt. Obviously been on the platform. Transparency is his thing. What do you both think about that, George? What do you feel about seeing that sort of thing from an owner?
I mean, if Cameron's all right with it, that's all right, isn't it? It's nice to see that that's the kind of conversation that he has with his players and that he's open and honest with them. And you know, I don't want this to become because I know that was a touchy subject at the weekend with Morsey's comments. This is not about Accrington knowing their place because they put us in ours. But, it's nice that he recognises that these players are people and that they can go and get more money at different clubs, not better clubs, not bigger clubs, at different clubs who are willing to pay them more money. And that's refreshing to see. And it's good that he, as an owner, is having that kind of relationship with the players on the ground floor.
Do you think it's an owner that really gets the business model? No, we all laughed about the 5-point plan, and we never really knew what our business model was. But do you think that's an owner that really owns the plan, leads the plan, and understands the plan? Because he understands, TJ, that for Accrington Stanley to succeed within the footballing world and be as competitive as they have been over the last couple of years, you've got to attract the players from lower levels. And you attract them by saying, look, we have got a clear pathway to playing in our first team that then allows you to go on to moves. And when in the past 5 years, we've had Burgess go to Ipswich, so-and-so go here, Donatian go to Ipswich, so-and-so. And it just shows the player that if you go to Stanley, we won't stand in your way. And it's an owner owning the plan.
Yeah, it's a very, very well-run club. And when Andy was on the show, he was just very transparent and open, just like that message was on Twitter. And I think he knows his minimum price for every player, and I'm sure he negotiates to try and get more. And then if he falls back onto that level, he knows what he's getting, and it's all for the good of the club going forward. And you can't begrudge him that. I thought Morsey's comments were very childish, and I wasn't happy with it. But hopefully there's been reflection since that you're in this league with these type of teams, get on with it and try and win. Don't have a hissy fit if you lose to it, because you should have done your research and know what you're facing, to be honest.
Yeah, absolutely. But when you sort of take the Stanley model, George, and he says there in the messages, Coley's not very happy. How difficult must it be for a manager to know the model, but then have to work with it on a yearly basis, and have an owner that not only knows it, but actively sort of encourage moving towards it? Because some owners would maybe be a bit more protective and say, well, the balance sheet looks good this year, we can hold on to him. How difficult must that be for someone like John Coleman?
But Coleman knows he's been there and gone and come back again, right? He knows the deal. I'm sure he wasn't happy, but I'm sure it was just maybe not banter, but I'm sure it was just a back and forth between them that was, I can't believe you're doing this again to me. But he knows the deal. He'll have bought into it just the same as, and I'm sure it's a very similar situation for him. Like, Andy Holt's not going to stand in his way if someone comes knocking, and he'll know that. So it's all just it's just part of a well-run football club, isn't it? And I think I was encouraged. I think there was there was a follow-up to that about Ashton, wasn't there, where someone asked and he put a little quote on about how Ashton said it was a pleasure to deal with you, and he absolutely echoed it. And I think that's certainly more than, if I'm right, if my memory's serving me right, Andy Holt kind of alluded to dealing with Evans previously, or maybe it was Dara that was that alluded to that. But we know what other and can imagine what other people thought of the experience of dealing with Marcus Evans or his cohorts. So it's good to see that maybe we're taking steps in the right direction in that respect as well. And I'm sure that's exactly how we've got some of these players in this summer. Like we've asked these guys to step down, so there's something that's been said to them. You know, you get yourselves up, or we'll listen to offers, reasonable offers next year. And I think that's just how clubs at this level, if not at every level, are run when they're run well.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, great points from both of you as always. Let's have a score prediction then as we head towards the end of the show. We've got loads in the chat. 2-0 says Cruncher, 1-1 says Legacy Bates, 2-0 says Coxie. TJ, your score prediction for the weekend, please.
2-0 Town.
Beautiful. George, your score prediction, please.
I think I said 3-1.
3-1. You're sticking with that?
Yep.
Okay.
That's my birthday. They're going to win.
Oh, okay. Happy birthday for Saturday.
You tell me yourself.
Oh, you going to be there? Way! I will tell you myself then. Matt, £5 from David. David, thank you very much, David. We appreciate that. Thank you. And he says 3-1 Town. Got 0-0 from Match Fanard. I don't think a 0-0 is in the suit either team, particularly us. 3-1. 2-1 says Josh Russell. Nick Muller says 4-1. Ant Still, legend at the prediction game, says 2-1. Colin says 3-0. And James B says 3-1. Right, as we round up today's show, new feature, Throwback Thursday. I went to Wimpy today, right? Not been to a Wimpy.
Exist?
Yeah, I know. But as a kid, there used to be a little grey pot with a sticker that says "Thank you for coming," and there was lollipops in them. That grey pot's now gone.
Do you still get your dinner on a china plate? That was literally the only drawer.
Yes, you do.
Right.
But as a kid, that little pot was the best thing because you'd go for a great Wimpy and then you'd come out and you have a little lollipop and anyway, it was great. But they don't do that anymore, so that's a bit disappointing. But Throwback Thursday, because that's a retro throwback. Spotify offer songs, obviously, and they do a Throwback Thursday feature. So I've taken 2 songs from the Throwback Thursday playlist they have put together. I'm going to give you two sentences of the song, one each, different one to each of you, and I'd like to see if you can tell me what you think that song is. I'll take the song title, but for double points, title and artist will be acceptable. So for you, TJ, I've got "So I'm back up in the game, running things to keep my swing." I'm back up in the game, running things to keep my swing. £5 for Mr. Ipswich Town. Thank you very much.
I ain't got a clue.
Okay, I'll give you the whole sort of the chorus, I suppose, if you like this bit. So I'm back up in the game, running things to keep my swing, letting all the people know that I'm back to run the show. Because what you did, was wrong, and all the nasty things you've done. So, baby, listen carefully while I sing my comeback song. Now, do you know what it is?
Is it Taylor Swift or something like that?
No, George, just still a point. Do you know what it is?
No, I hate it when anything worse than spoken word lyrics. They're so frustrating.
Right. I'll try and do it in the court. Ready? So I'm back up in the game, running things to keep up my swing, letting all the people know that I'm back to run the show. Because what you did, was wrong. And on the nasty things you've done, so maybe listen carefully while I sing my comeback song.
No idea, mate.
She said she'd never turn on me, but you did. It's Return of the Mac by Mark Morrison. Return of the Mac. For you, George, here we go. We have got 9 was the time because I'll be getting mine and she was looking fine. 9 was the time because I'll be getting mine and she was looking fine.
No idea, buddy. Oh, all these return. I should have the chat open. I have no idea. Give me more than that.
Okay. 9 was the time because I'll be getting mine and she was looking fine. Smooth talker, she told me. She'd love to unfold me all night long. Oh, I loved the way she kicked it. From the front to back, she flipped it. Back, she flipped it. Oh, the way she kicked. And yeah, hope that she care because I'm a man who will always be there.
Oh, I'm going to kick myself. I know I am, but
you are.
Funny, you could see my vinyl collection. I don't think it's in it, but
no, I don't think it is either.
Go on.
Is it a great clue there? It's a great clue there. Great clue.
Oh, Christ.
I'm
not going to answer purely out of principle if it's Craig David.
It's 7 Days by Craig David. Can I get a rewind?
Takes me back to Liquid and Ipswich in circa 1998.
Did you, as we're in the show now, but did either of you watch or Keith Lemon's original comedy show that, well, the name escapes me, with the Bo Selector. Bo Selector. Did you used to watch that with old Kez? Come on, Kez. Craig David was brilliant. Can I get a rewind? That was brilliant. Craig David. Yeah, there we go. We'll maybe work on that for future weeks. But it was because I was wimping. I thought we'd go for a throwback. Come on, Kez, you bastard. That's it. That's the fella. Right. This is Talking Town, an FCA finalist. I'll be there next week. Hopefully pick up the award. That is Voom, Tom James. You got a DVD, Cruncher? Oh, Cruncher, step into my DMs, my friend. I'd like to borrow it. That is George Nunn, the designer. This has been Talking Town. Thank you for watching. We are currently on 62 likes, way short of George's targets. Let's get smashing the like button. 150 likes. Otherwise, Marcus Stewart, as we've said at the top of the show, doesn't get fed. But don't forget, you can subscribe to us as Marcus wants you to. But until tomorrow, 8:30 for press conference reaction with myself, with the Cruncher, and the Media Mogul. Take care, look after each other, and here's to a town win on Sunday.
We're on a journey, looking back on the things that we've taken for granted, but feels like we're learning to be better without what's been holding us back now.